What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. They're calling this season 2 like episode 13. I'm calling this season 3 episode 3 because that makes more sense. Um, Before we get started, I just want to say this to you guys. Everybody, I need you guys to go out and vote. If you did not register to vote before the deadline started, there are some laws in some states where you can do same day registration. It has not ended in every state. Please check the laws in your state and make sure, that you are exercising your constitutional right to vote. Something that Common said that he tweeted out. He said, if voting didn't matter, why are they trying so hard to take it away from us? And so I think that's something that we need to think about. If voting wasn't important, why is it something we've been fighting about since our forefathers put it in the Constitution? And not just people of color, but also women. Women didn't get the right to vote until 1920, white or black, right? So please, ladies and gentlemen, can we go out here and make a difference? It's real easy to sit back and talk shit and complain and all these wonderful things, but let's remember that the reason why this man is in the White House and the things that are happening is because people didn't go out and exercise their right to vote for whatever their reasons were. So with that being said, I'm done. Let's move into the video. So here's the thing. Okay, so we got Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, and something I'm noticing, it seems to me that as this particular show moves forward, we're getting less and less away. Does that make sense? Less and less away. We're getting more and more away from the original concept of this show, which is growing up hip hop, which is supposed to be focusing on the children of these hip hop stars from the 80s and the 90s. And it seems like we're almost going back to the adults and it being their show. The original franchise of Growing Up Hip Hop, and that was on the West Coast. Last season, we saw Dame Dash become a prominent part of the show. We saw Pepper become a prominent part of the show. Master P actually was more prominent, but he looked like he stepped back a little bit last season. But it seems like they have more camera time than the kids sometimes. And we're seeing the same thing here. I'm noticing this season that we're seeing a lot more Deb Atney, we're seeing a lot more Jermaine Dupri, a lot more the Brat, and a lot less of the kids. This episode was damn near the So Def episode. I mean, I would say 80 to 90% of this episode dealt with Bow Wow, the So Def tour, the Brat, and Jermaine Dupri. So I'm going to see how the rest of the season progresses, but we're not really seeing a lot of the kids. And I thought that was the whole focus of this. And I don't know if it's they don't want to be on the show or just whatever. But anyway, let's get back to it. So the episode opens up. They're still in New York after Jermaine Dupri gets inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and they're talking about the tour. Him and Bow Wow. Bow Wow saying, "Look, I'll do the tour, but you gotta meet my demands. I mean, I am the superstar of So Def. I am, the man." And I'm like, Bow Wow, you are so delusional. I mean, am I wrong? Correct me in them comments, but Bow Wow, you ain't had a hit record since when? And I know nowadays people do mixtapes and people make money off of mixtapes, and it's not so much about being on the mainstream radio anymore and all that. I get that, but y'all let me know what Bow Wow got out there. Like what's really good for him to act like he needs all these special things. He wanted his own tour bus. He wanted a Sprinter. He wanted his own set, which I can understand him wanting his own set. Now that I can give you that one, Bow Wow. Just all these crazy things, because he was like, because I need my privacy and I don't really need to share a bus with nobody else because my girl going to be with me and I need a Sprinter. Jermaine Dupri was like, what you need a Sprinter for? We're going to be flying. He was like, well, you know how I do. I be wilding out. You know how I am. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to need you to come into 2018 and come up out of the Scream tour. That's what I'm going to need you to do. So, and Jermaine told him that. He said, you can have everything you want if you pay for it. He was like, you can get your own tour bus. That's cool. You're going to pay for it. And, of course, Bob was like, what? I'm not paying for the tour bus. I'm not doing that. What's wrong with him? What does Jermaine think this is? We'll get to that later. So then we see a scene with Jermaine Dupri's daughter, was it her name? Shania, I believe. And the boyfriend, and they just talking about the date. I mean, talking about her father being inducted and how the performance went and everything. And she was saying how she really feels good opening up to somebody because, growing up, she never knew if people wanted to be friends with her because of who she was or because of who her father was. And as a result, people thought she was stuck up or thought she was a bitch or whatever. And she said, so it feels good to be able to open up to somebody and to share, somebody that she really thinks genuinely loves her. Unfortunately, he's getting ready to go away to school. You remember from last season, he was still in high school. Now, she's older than him because she's graduated a few years ago. But he's getting ready to go away, go to school in Miami. Now, I thought he was already in school in Miami, so maybe I'm wrong. Excuse me, y'all. Maybe I'm wrong. And so, with that being said, she said that this is gonna be a long distance thing, and she like, but he better get it together because I don't have no problem jumping on a plane and heading down to Miami. I said, okay, boo, okay. The whole time this is going on, Little Miss Masika is blowing Bow Wow up. Now, to hear Masika tell the story, they just cool. They flirted back in the day. He, talks her into coming to Atlanta, and now that she's here, he don't really had nothing, to talk to her about, and he's kind of blowing her off. And she was like, I hope he ain't blowing me off because of his girlfriend, because what's that about? She should be secure in their relationship, and she shouldn't be worried about who he talking to, and we just old friends, and it's not a big deal. But Masika, you spent the whole damn episode talking about Bow Wow. If I was his girlfriend, I'd be looking at your ass sideways too. Now, at the end of the day, ultimately, it's on Bow Wow to make sure that he stays faithful and does what he's supposed to do. But for real, I'm giving you the side eye too because I'm just like, boo-boo. Why are you worried about what me and my man are doing? Like, what's really good? So then we see Bow Wow and the Brat. Bow Wow and the Brat had this little falling out last season, and the Brat said, we still ain't made up. I'm still mad at him because Bow Wow this and Bow Wow that. Come to find out, they were doing an Upward Bound type situation, like a little, community service situation. But they talked or whatever, and, when they got through with they were able to get through the conversation. And at the end, of course, everything was cool. They were like, we family and family fight, but at the end of the day, we still love each other, blah, blah, blah. But my thing is this, Brett, if you're going to just keep talking about how everybody lets Bow Wow get away with stuff and how he's the baby and he's the brat and, he's an asshole and there's no consequences for his behavior. He gets to do whatever he wants. But you part of the problem. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and you start putting consequences in place. Stop talking about Jermaine Dupri's consequences when he do the same thing to you. Excuse me, later on in the episode, he's late to a meeting, and you like, this is just what he does, and there's not going to be no consequences, because there's never any consequences. He's always late. How about this? How about you leave then? If he's late for the meeting, and you feel like this man is disrespecting your time, leave. And he going to either do one or two things. Either y'all going to stop hanging out, or he going to stop being late. But, you can't keep getting on everybody else about what Bow Wow don't get, and you not doing it either. Anyway. So then we see Miss Masika and Miss Deb meeting down to the Club Seduction. Now, Miss Deb got another club. It's called Club Seduction. And this looks like it's probably a male exotic dance club because Masika is looking for, rewind. We see Masika in the studio with Jazzy Faye, and he's going to help her with her EP and everything. And they're really good friends. He's the godfather of her daughter, and she's talking to him about Bow Wow. Like everybody she talked to this episode, she talked about Bow Wow. But anyway, so we see Masika is looking for. She's casting men for her video, and it's a really steamy video. So Miss Deb said, "Hey, we can just send over some of the dancers from my club, and we can audition them, and it's gonna be hot." And of course, so they got the men coming through, taking off their shirts and doing, and they all, they were all had beautiful bodies. I mean, I can't be mad. I can't front on it. And so when they got done with that, they started talking about Bow Wow and Johnny Blaze. And what Johnny Blaze did at the club, and Deb Atney's letting her know how she feel about it, and all this good stuff, all that back and forth, whatever. And basically, at the end of the day, Deb is like, Johnny was just out of pocket. She was disrespectful, and I'm just not dealing with that anymore. And we find out that Masika is really waiting to meet up with Johnny because they have a history where Johnny was in Fetty Wap's DMs while Masika was pregnant. And Masika was like, what she don't know is that I know all about it, and I got some words for her when I see her. So I'm like, all right, we know what that's going to be. At some point this season, they going to meet up, and it's going to be some issues. Because y'all know Masika she ain't never scared of a fight, and neither is Johnny. So that's going to be some shit when that pop off. Then we see So Def going on. They went on Wild and Out for this episode, and everything they're doing is to promote the tour, right? And we see Bow Wow with his daughter. His she's a sweetheart, and she's a little sassy. You know, there's a thin line between sassy and bratty, and I think she's on the sassy side. She's not bratty, but they better watch it so it doesn't go too far. And I also think she was camping it up for the camera a little bit. She's definitely she definitely knows that she's on camera. She definitely knows how to play to the camera. But it was really cute to see Bow Wow with his daughter. It's clear that he's an active dad. It's clear that they have a relationship. It wasn't fake. You know, she wasn't, like looking around like, who these people. She knows who Jermaine is. She knows who the brat is. His mom and everything. So they go down to Wild and Out, and Bow Wow's girl is a Wild and Out girl. Like, she's on the show. And so, she was like, you can see that she's met the daughter before too. I don't know. I can't say it's too early because shit, it look like Bow Wow's damn near living together in his mama house. So I mean, I guess it can't help but meet the baby if you're living in the house. You know what I mean? But they know each other. They met up. Looks like, and she even said, I'm glad that his daughter gets to see me doing something other than twerking on Instagram. What? First of all, the daughter shouldn't even know your Instagram and shouldn't see you on Instagram if you know that's what the shit you're doing on Instagram. Second of all, if you know that that's probably not a good look, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. But it looked like they had a good show, on Wild and Out. And then we see another, we see his daughter talking to the brat. And, we see her telling Jermaine, "You not fly. You got on too many chains and you don't look cute. And I don't like all them." It was a cute scene. It was a cute little moment. And then we see her and Bow Wow have a dance off. And she looked like she could dance. She's clearly taking dance lessons because she was getting it. You know what I'm saying? And she had her face going and everything. It was cute. It was really cute. And it was cute to see Bow Wow in a different light, because it's easy, when he's playing up this "I'm the man" and "I'm so this" and "I'm so that." It's cute to see him as a dad and just play in his role as a father. We see Johnny Blaze, and she's feeling bad about the situation with Deb and ready to apologize, but she don't, just like anybody else who acts a fool, now she don't know how to sort of backtrack her way into it, because she knows she's done this a million times and she needs some help. So who does she call? Here comes Brandon. I knew we were going to see Brandon because they brought his name up. But we find out that Brandon is now in, he said firefighting school. I've never heard it called that before. I've always heard it called that you're in the academy, that you're in the cadet in the academy. Like, I've never heard anybody say I'm in firefighting school, but maybe that's how they say it in Atlanta. But I'm also shocked, and so was Johnny, that this is what Brandon is doing. It looks like he has totally moved away from the whole music situation, which he needed to do. Not because he's not talented, because I see that he definitely has talent, but his temperament wasn't ready for what he was trying to take on. And he was trying to have his own label and be head of a label. And, these ain't the days of Berry Gordy and Motown where you could borrow $500 from your family, cut a record, and keep it moving. And that's not to say that's the story we hear, but we know it was years that things didn't go right and that Berry Gordy he had one hit, and then it was a long time before he really got that train moving. But it's not those days anymore. Like, with independent artists making more money independently, not really wanting to be with labels having to put out more and more and more because radio play just ain't the only ticket in town anymore. Like, it's a lot to say I'm going to start my own record label in 2018. And so it looks like Brandon is making some different moves, but he seemed to be in a really good place. And he was letting Johnny have it. He was like, look, at the end of the day, you stubborn and my mama's stubborn. He was like, so if you know that you're a handful and my mom's a handful, approach her the way you would want somebody to approach you. When you call her, talk to her the way you would want somebody to talk to you. And you need to apologize. If you know you were wrong and you know you was out of pocket, approach her and say what you gotta say. Like, be a woman about your shit. Like, you know that you're a bitch. He said, and it's okay. I'm a bitch too. He said, I know I come out my mouth wrong too, but I know there are consequences to it, and you just gotta own up to it. And so she calls Deb, and at first Deb was like, nah, I ain't really trying to talk to you. But then she talks her into meeting up with her, and so Deb agrees to do it. As we knew she would. As we knew she would. Then we see Bow Wow sit down with Jermaine Dupri and the Brat to talk about the tour. He's the only one who hasn't signed and wants to do the tour yet. Blah, blah, blah. So the Bow Wow talking about, well, Jermaine, I'll do it if you meet my demands, and, you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to do this, you got to do that. And Jermaine was like, you can have all that you want, as long as you pay for it. You want a tour bus, you got to pay for it. You want a Sprinter, you got to pay for it. He was like, if, these are things you want, sure, you paying for it. And, Bow Wow was like, why should I have to pay for it? Jermaine was like, who do you think paid for your tour bus when you were 9? Bow Wow was like, I don't know. He said, you did. He said, who do you think paid for your tour bus when you was 15? He was like, I don't know. He said, you did. He said, it came out of the budget. And it came out of your money. Bow Wow was like, oh, I didn't know. Well, I guess since I've been paying for it my whole life anyway, I guess we'll just do what we always did. How did you not know that, man? I mean, clearly I didn't expect you to know when you were 9 or when you were 15, but certainly as an adult, you had to know that that money to pay for that tour bus was coming out of your money. And if you didn't know, that's a sad state of affairs. But anyway, it's all over, said and done. Of course, Bow Wow agrees to go on the tour, and without really getting what he said he wanted to get, because he's paying for it anyway. And it's really funny to see them spend a whole episode talking about a tour that didn't happen. Because as we know, now they did have the performance last week, the So Def reunion, performance last week, the 25-year last week in Atlanta. But from my understanding, the rest of the tour was canceled. I think they're going to do an LA show, and I think that's it. I don't know if it's because of poor ticket sales or what. I don't know what the reason was, but we really did spend a whole episode talking about a tour that nobody's going on. Last but not least, we see Bow Wow finally pull up on Masika. She's having like a little listening party type thing, a welcome back to Atlanta listening party. Little get together. It looks like it's a nice little event. They got, pool table, a little something in there, a little studio. And so she's playing some of the songs that, off her EP. She said the EP's not done, but she just want people to kind of see what she's doing and what she's working on. And Bow Wow rolls up. And so Bow Wow said, let me talk to you for a minute. And he says, I just want to let you know that I know it might feel like I've been blowing you off or whatever. He said, but that's not really it. He said, I'm just trying to be respectful of my girl. Like, we cool and there's nothing really going on there. But my girl, she's just, she feels some kind of way about certain things. And I'm just trying to be respectful of that. And you know what, Masika? If you was really Bow Wow's friend and you wasn't really on no fugazi type shit, you would have been cool with that and you would have accepted that answer. But you starts talking about how your girlfriend, she need to trust you and why she worried about you, and if it's a problem, then you need to start messing with these internet, thoughts, and that's what you get. Like, you don't be wifing up the internet thought. And I mean, she was really coming at him, and to Bow Wow's credit, he was being real cool about it, but at the end of the day, you were really being disrespectful about his relationship and about a woman you've never met. And for somebody who kept talking about you wasn't tripping, that was some real hater shit that you came at him with, Masika. Now, we know that Masika know how to turn out a show and create a scene, and I'm sure it's a lot of that involved in it. But at the end of the day, you was talking real crazy out the side of your neck about that situation and about his girlfriend. So we know that's going to be a problem too. Anyway, that was the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Peace.